Okay, so yeah, I don't know. This has been a while since I recorded any of these videos. In all honesty, we've been swamped with a lot of production stuff. I've also been taking a lot of time to figure out a lot of like internal things for the business, just making sure that we are being more efficient, and just making the best use of our time and our money. But yeah, this video is more or less about the pop-up shop. So Spatial Projects Part 2. Big shout out to Hallmark for providing us with the space, and a big shout out to Cruel Commons for helping us produce this pop-up event for the second time around. With Spatial Projects, the whole goal is to reimagine what retail is for the future. For me, one thing that I think is a bit boring, I guess, is probably the best word. A lot of retail spaces, I think we put a lot of energy into the way they look, but the energy and the intention can a lot of times feel very sterile and cold. I always say they kind of force you in through the window, and then you buy and they kind of like shove you out the door. And I think the future of retail is definitely something that's a bit more communal, something that's a bit more slow and allows people to come, relax, chill, and engage with the brand and engage with their interests, if you will. You know, and if you decide to buy something as a byproduct, you know, I think then that's perfect. But if not, I think stores should also have other ways to monetize that experience for the customer, whether that's coffee, books, art, you name it, maybe classes, maybe, yeah, like the ideas are endless. But this time we built off of the initial, I guess, Spatial Projects idea. We had a really big space, and as soon as I saw the space, I was really envisioning like a New York loft, just really starting to imagine what my room would look like, or the room of like the Spencer Badu customer. And that's kind of like where everything started. So we basically built, I guess, a bedroom paired with things that I really felt that were dear to me, and also that I feel like a lot of my peers have in common. And also just using that space as a way to like merchandise in a very interesting way. So having like socks on the floor to really kind of like story tell, and then having, you know, our keychain and little like receipts, change, and cameras. A bit messy on purpose, but that's kind of like what we are trying to give within that space. Beyond that, we brought back the open decks concept. CDJs open from I guess it was a Thursday to the Sunday, open to the public for DJs to be able to register and basically play music throughout the weekend. I met a lot of great DJs, and you know, I didn't realize it in the moment, but I think it's a great way for us to meet and kind of, you know, foster new talent. So that was a great addition. We had a gallery room that I guess we presented a visual mixtape that I made a few years ago, just with a compilation of different references, excerpts from like interviews, music videos, movies, just like things that I feel like has inspired or more or less like been very, yeah, inspirational to my creative process and who I am, the codes of the brand. And then, yeah, second time around, Taylor of Off-Brand Library came with a collection of books. And honestly, I don't know where he gets those things, but so many amazing books. And yeah, I think just a combination of all those different things really brought people together. Also had Matcha Dive, providing like a complimentary matcha and glow water. And Sapporo, big shout out to Sapporo for just like coming through every single time. And yeah, so it was like a really exciting week. Started with 3 days of just like a regular pop-up shop, and then on the last day we had a sample sale, which funny enough performed like really well. It was actually busier than honestly the other 3 days, but hey, who doesn't like a sale? And then, yeah, the Friday, we had a talk with me and Malcolm. Malcolm runs an actual book club, and I met him, I would say, a few years ago, and we were in London, I would say in the summer, and he asked me to be a part of his zine, and I agreed. And yeah, he interviewed me, took a few photos, and printed the zine, and I thought it was like no better place than to have the launch, or I guess the pre-launch for the zine at the pop-up shop. And then can't forget Badu Rave. So we had Badu Rave, which was a party series that we do, you know, I would say at least once or twice a year. around the world. And yeah, it was like a really amazing week. But I stand in front of you guys like extremely exhausted. I feel like I'm putting a lot of energy out into the world, and I hope that you know I reap what I sow. But regardless, I'm really happy and grateful that I get to do this, and I get to chase my dreams, and I get to share my work, and people gravitate to it and people support me. I'm extremely grateful, and I just think that like for the future, there's a lot that we're working on. So many exciting things that like we've been working on for the past couple years. And yeah, these videos too, I would say initially I wanted the cadence to be just like very consistent, and then I realized like I'm probably better off documenting what's going on and making more longer form videos that are a bit more educational but also still entertaining, because I think like for what it's worth, the life of a designer, at least for myself, is not that exciting unless if I'm going to Paris, going to New York, going to LA, most likely just traveling. But a lot of the times in the studio, there's a lot of there's a lot of repetition. And I think after a while it could get old just to like see me in the studio drafting and sewing and coming up with ideas. And then also we're working on things that, kind of we don't want to show, and that in a way, I guess, would kind of give away what we're working on. So yeah, bear with us. We're figuring out how this YouTube thing is going, but honestly, like I'm just super grateful, and I'm getting more comfortable just putting myself out there and kind of talking on camera. Shout out to you guys for all the support. Hopefully we can do a spatial projects in another part of the world. Please comment where you guys think, or not where you guys think, but please comment where you guys would want us to do another spatial projects. And yeah, shout out to y'all. Peace out.